Haribo, 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 Haribo. Yeah, it's around 6 o'clock in the morning here. Kartik season, 20th October, here in Vrindavan. Because of the fact that there's a fact that the importance of the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya was neglected for many years, and I'm saying around 250 years. It wasn't until 1790 that even a place of worship for Dhameshwara was built. Before that, from 1532, the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, until 1790, it was totally prohibited to worship him in Navadvip, his birthplace. Last person that was doing that was Krishna Chandra, and he was defeated in his own court by Tota Ramdas Babaji from Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to him. So we have to look at this as the plan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He disappeared in 1532, and his own town was not able to worship him until after 1790. So to have precise history, very difficult. Just by the mercy of Jagannath Das Babaji, just by his mercy, we know that Vishnu Priya, she was born. She was born in Vasant Panchami, but we don't know the exact date. Nor do we know the exact age she was when she married Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some say she was around 16 when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. That means he left when he was 24, and she was 16. And they were, in a marriage situation for about 4 years before he left. So, that's the situation. So it also brings to account Vishnu Priya. She did like the top austerities of what you call Gambira, lamentation, where she was so much in tapasya that it was incredible. It was unbearable for people that knew her. Some persons, they say that Vishnu Priya, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left her, was chanting her rounds, and when she would chant her rounds, she would put one rice particle aside, and then after she finished her number of rounds, she would cook it. But now, I went to as original as you can get, I went to the original, and the translation can be a grain, but it also can be what is called the particle of the rice. The particle of the rice is, for me, a more logical uh, thing that she was doing. She wanted the rice as pure as she could get. And in those days, the rice was not done with, it wasn't sold in grains, it was sold in the particle. The particle has around 250 grains in it. Maybe hers had even more than that. So she wanted the best rice to be offered and get the best from her husband. I say that because he would come every day and eat with her. And he would come every day and eat with her. So she was cooking the best rice. So she bought the particles. After she finished her rounds, she then took it to the mortar. Now, your rice, or anybody's rice now, you don't have to go take it to a mortar and beat it. But if you take rice to a mortar and you beat it, more than likely, a lot of it still has the red line on it, which is the most nutritious part. And not only that, but the shell, it can, if it's passed through the mortar, then it can be digestible. If it's not, then the shell is too hard for your stomach to digest. Someone should study and see what the shell contains. And when it's beat in a mortar, it's more edible, because some of that shell is cooked also. So she knew that, okay, when I beat this in the mortar, rice is the most absorbent grain that was available to her. Okay? So now I want to chant all my rounds. I want to be in a pure state of mind. And I want to beat this rice and then cook it for him. So you can see that it is more logical. Also, it wasn't just her eating. She was cooking for Sachima. She was cooking for the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, Narayani. She was cooking for Damodar. She was cooking for, I think, Amita and Kanchana, her great friends, even in childhood. And others were there also. I hope you get the picture that she was cooking quite a bit of rice. So it would be, I'm not saying she couldn't make it multiply and cook them all, even if she just did one round and cooked that one grain of rice, she could feed the universe. But what I'm saying is not logical. So I translate, instead of one grain of rice being put aside, I'm saying the pinnacle. The pinnacle is the top part, it's the pinnacle of the rice, and it has 250 grains in it. By the time she did all her rounds, she would have plenty of rice. And a very nutritious rice. So I'd like, please, somebody, because the difference between what you get with millet and what you get with rice is because some of the millets they have a shell, and that shell is edible. There's no problem with it. Yeah, it isn't that, there's many varieties of millet. I think there's more than 100 varieties. But that millet, the shell is also edible and good for you. Yeah, it helps out. So I would say that the shell that stays in her mortar as she's doing this has been beat in the mortar and is edible and should have some very good benefits. And I know that the red line in the rice is very important. But all the rice is polished nowadays. And I was sitting with a very respected Brahmin family in Navadvip, and I asked him that his daughter goes to the public school and she eats there. And he said, no, she can't eat there. She's vegetarian. And I made me very happy and everything. And I said, but there's one thing. Well, does she eat the rice? And then he said no, because even the rice is parboiled. Parboiled means it's like half boiled, and it's easier to cook it, so it's parboiled. Okay? But if you examine, here the Brahmana is saying he doesn't want them to cook it, and then he cooks it because the grain of rice absorbs so much of the atmosphere. The atmosphere around it goes into the grain of rice. So he doesn't want that cooking. Well, as I investigated in Costa Rica and went to different places where they are harvesting rice, they said that the machines are set up to take off the shell and everything of the rice, and there's a temperature of more than 190 degrees that they're put through for about a good time. They don't just go through it in a second. They stay in that 190 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So that being said, I don't see any rice anywhere that hasn't been parboiled. Maybe not parboiled, but let's say cooked. Yeah, you can say cooked, not parboiled. So it's been cooked, and the atmosphere around it has been gathered. So not only is the shell totally gone, the red line is gone, and it's also cooked. So I didn't tell that to the Brahmana because I don't want to make him feel bad that there's no way out of it. If you want to buy rice, you're buying rice that has already been cooked by a machine, and you don't know who's running the machine, you don't know what's going on around the machine, and you don't know the atmosphere that it already absorbed. And then you take that and you think it's clean. No, it's not clean at all. So that being said, I'm pretty sure I may get some, bad comments because everybody's saying she put a grain aside. No, she put a pinnacle aside. Let's be a little bit more intelligent. I still wish I knew what day they got married. I actually celebrated their marriage 1 year. I thought it was the most logical time. It would be after Katyayani Vrat, because all the gopis, they're doing their Vrat to Krishna, and at the end of that Vrat, Krishna comes and practically marries them all, right there, you know, because the husband is the only one that's supposed to see the lady without clothes on, and he saw all the ladies without clothes on. So that was an indication that he had married them. So I did it on the the last day, the Purnim day of the Katyayani Vrat. Without me knowing, and a Baba, a well-known Baba in Radhakund, he came to know that I had done that. So he went to the person where it was done, and the Baba said, "Oh, he did it on the right day." So without me asking it. So I said, "Oh, this is the right day." I was just guessing, but it was the most logical day, Katyayani Vrat. But some personalities, they say around May, around the time of the Ekadasi, where Lakshmi marries Jagannath. So I would not go against it, but I would just go, stay with the Katyayani Vrat. So then I went and I asked an authority who is Bhagavat. He is the person in charge of the Harinam press here in Vrindavan. And I asked him, how old was Vishnu Priya when she left this planet? So now, many people are saying she was 50 years old. But Bhagavat said that from all he knows and all the information that he has gathered, because he has really made a study on that, she was 80 years old. So I was amazed. Here is, I'm glorifying Vishnu Priya. Here is Vishnu Priya from 16 years old until 80 years old. She is lamenting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, she's lamenting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, if you put that together, she had to have left this planet before, before the Kachari festival of Narottam Das Thakur. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya self-manifested in a deity that was actually given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Narottam Das for installation. And that was around 1580. I would say maybe close to 80 years old. I mean, I would say, okay, I go along with Bhagavan, but not 80 years old. Because 80 years old, if she's 16, when she marries him, right? Or excuse me, when he leaves, she's 16. Oh, excuse me. So that wouldn't give enough time to go all the way up to 80 before the Kachari festival. The Kachari festival, again, is not a set date. Some persons say 1774, some persons say later than that, but it's around that time because they're calculating the people who were alive at that time. So it doesn't matter. Even if she just lamented one day, it's incredible. But alone, she lived alone without Nimai, she had her friends there, Amita and Kanchana, but still she lived alone. Yes, she lived alone. The great personality, Vishnu Priya ki jai. Vishnu Priya ki jai. Yeah. Her vrat, her tapasya is amazing. It's totally amazing. In what you would call tattva, tattva is, according to scripture, they're Radha and Krishna. But according to Leela, they're Vishnu Priya Gauranga. And they should be looked at like that. They want to be looked at like that. That we are part of your gang, we're in the middle of all of you, and this is our activities. So they want to be worshipped as Vishnu Priya Gauranga. And this Leela should not be disturbed. Yes. Oh, incredible. Okay. Back to japa. That's the most important thing. Chanting.